everyone, welcome back. I know it's been quite a while this time, so thank you if you are watching. I am currently in isolation and will be for the next 6 days, so I thought this seemed as good a time as any to get back to some makeup content, makeup videos. So for today, I am going to be doing a get ready with me using products that I am unofficially panning. So by which I mean they're not exactly part of any project at the moment, but they're products that I have been focusing on, mostly staple products to try and get some usage. I think a couple of them will also have been in some projects, but there are a few that just kind of, I guess because they are naturally being panned anyway, I've just sort of accelerated that progress by really focusing on them. So yeah, I suppose I'll dive straight in. I have with me a cup of Lady Grey, mostly to keep my hands warm because it's really cold here. Yeah, I think Lady Grey is like Earl Grey but with lemon instead of bergamot, or at least that's my understanding. But let's get into it. Hopefully it won't be too loud as well. I'll start with getting out my base products. I'm just thinking about which blush I want to use because I have a cool tone bronzer that I'm using at the moment, and then I also have a warm tone blush, and I don't really want to pair them together today. I think I'll go with my red blush, my Franken blush, one of my Franken blushes anyway. I'll put that in. Let's see. Okay, I think that is a good start. I didn't actually think about the fact that my hair is out, but I do normally do my makeup with my hair out, so I don't think it's too much of a big deal. Alright, so first off I have my ultraviolet sunscreen. This one I bought two of them secondhand. This one was sort of half used and the other one was still new. I bought them from Carousel, which is a bit like, I'm trying to remember what the name is, the ones like that are overseas, a bit like Depop-ish I think, but they have a fair few people selling cosmetics on there. And so anyway, it's not my favorite because it's quite thick and sort of pasty, and I think definitely geared at people with oily skin because it's quite mattifying, and it almost feels a little bit like a clay mask, that kind of grippiness. I mean, obviously not that it dries down like that, that'd be horrifying, but it's a lot more matte than the Mecca Cosmetica one, which is my go-to, my favorite sunscreen. They're both very expensive, so if I do ever find a cheaper option that is still cosmetically elegant, then I would definitely go for that. Anywho, just get that all on. I'm not going to be leaving the house anyway, so this is a little redundant, but I will be near windows and I'll be in the kitchen for a while, which has quite a bit of sun coming through, so yeah, best to be safe, I guess. I know SPF is something that's talked about a lot in the beauty world, and then certainly living in Australia, it takes on a whole new meaning. It's, yeah, truly an essential. Skin cancer here is very common. So next up I have my, I don't know what this calls itself, a tinted moisturizer and a BB cream. I mix them together at the moment because the shades are, well, yeah, this one is very light and actually almost a dead-on match for me, but a bit too light right now, and this one's quite a lot too dark, but I just don't want to throw it out. I am a bit, not exactly hate panning it, but I'm just kind of panning it for the sake of panning it a bit at the moment. So that's the, I don't know if that's going to show up there, but that's the balance I've got at the moment. Maybe like a 1 to 3 kind of ratio. Just mix it up. that with my fingers because it is sheer, it's easy. I know Oriel recently put up a video, I don't know if it was one of the recent ones or a bit longer ago, wondering about how people put on base makeup with their hands, and I can imagine this might be kind of gross even for some people or uncomfortable to watch, but it's definitely what works for me when I'm using a sheer product. I wouldn't do this with something thick or something very heavy, but certainly for a sheer base, I am most happy doing it with my fingers and just kind of using essentially the pads of my fingers. So I'm not really I don't really get it much under my nails because I'm not sort of applying like this, it's very flat. Yeah, anyway, works for me. Here we go. Alright. Okay, so as you can see, it sort of has done something, but admittedly probably not a whole lot. I think it's partly taking the redness down a notch, and I think smoothing over texture a little bit is sort of the main thing that I get from using a BB cream. And I suppose a bit of evenness in the sense that I have a product that is the same colour all over my face, even if it's very, very sheer. I do think it means that my skin tone is a bit more cohesive, whereas otherwise I have quite sort of different patches or different kind of clusters of skin tones. Alright, and then my next step, which is an essential one, well, essential, it's a daily thing for me, is this is a colour corrector. So the one I'm using at the moment is a monstrosity. I have ranted about this product so many times on Instagram. This is my Charlotte Tilbury colour corrector, my peach colour corrector. I think the packaging is nightmarish. I don't know if it's going to focus. Anywho, I think the packaging is pretty awful in the sense that I'm not someone who uses makeup in a very rough way, and yet it's still just like turned to shit basically. So I'm just going to dab that on my under eye. I normally use my ring finger. Recently I have been using a brush to pick up product because it is so panned in the sense that there's just product around the edges, so it makes it a bit harder to pick up. I'm just going to dab that on. I do have very dark under eye circles, or maybe more I should say very purpley blue under eye circles, so I do find that it definitely lifts my face to use this kind of a product. I don't mind if there's a bit of texture or if it looks sometimes a tiny bit creasy. For the most part, I really only need my makeup to look good at arm's length. Most people aren't seeing my face up that close except for me and I guess my partner, but yeah, I think it does the job. Obviously you can still see there's a bit of purple kind of showing through, but that's about as far as I'm going to take it. Maybe we'll put a tiny bit more just here. Okay, good. Okay, so I normally just use the back of my hands to check how tacky my skin is feeling. It's got a bit of grippiness, so I'm gonna set it with a powder. I don't know how much of this powder I'm actually picking up when I use it, because it is, I think it's getting a lot of hard pan on it. It's a powder that I lost for like over a year and then discovered it in one of my handbags. Yeah, I think it's picking up some product anyway in this enormous brush. Is this a BH brush? I think so. Whatever it is, I love this brush. It is my biggest one, like a fat microphone kind of thing. But yeah, just to take some of that tackiness down from the base product. good enough. Alright. And yeah, just incidentally, this is one of my nicest smelling products. It has that peach fig scent that the white peach palette does as well from Too Faced. Iconic. So I'll get into one of the products that I am informally panning. Obviously this one too, the colour corrector, clearly it is being panned. That is also just natural usage because I use it so much. Oh, no, it's not here right now. Okay, so the other product is, it's kind of falling apart, so I'm not going to hold it all the way flat. This one is the NYX blush in taupe something. The one that everyone bought, like, I don't know, 8 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago. The one that everyone was buying, and well, that every single pale, supposedly cool toned person was buying. I don't actually really know my undertone, to be honest, even now. But it was sort of, yeah, I think originally it was made to be a blush, but people were using it as a contour for very fair skin. And I bought it and sort of used it here and there, and then in any case, I'm trying to finish it up now because I'm sort of done with it. I don't think I need such an old product, so I am, yeah, unofficially panning this one. And I normally go into the temples to start with. I definitely find, be it either a bronzer or a more cool tone thing like this, that I guess in theory you could call a contour, either way, I think I definitely need product like that on my temples to kind of, I guess, give depth, give dimension, make my forehead a bit less pale, really. And then I'm kind of tracing the cheekbones. I'm not super precise about it. Oh, some dead skin. Cool. But yeah, essentially just in the places where I guess there'd naturally be a bit of shadow anyway. This is crumbling so much every time I put my brush in. It's kind of a huge mess. That's why it's currently in the Colourpop palette and not in its little, it was before in here, which is a custom face quad that I made myself. But it's just this contour product is definitely way too messy to keep in there right now. So I'll just get the other side done. I have a mirror over there as well, so I can kind of use that well enough. Yeah. Okay. I did try to use this as a blush the other day, as in putting it essentially higher up on my cheeks and a bit more towards the center, but it looked really muddy. So I don't think this is a color that could be a blush for me, being a bit too brown, I guess a bit too cool tone brown for that, and maybe a bit too deep. But yeah, it does its job just fine like this. I kind of have no idea how to do nose contour, to be honest. Sometimes I'll just kind of like take the tip of this enormous brush and just, I mean, again, nothing perfect, but just kind of sweep it down the sides and across the middle. Having said that, I don't really know what I'm doing. I think my nose has so much structure that building new structure onto it isn't really doable, or it may be doable by someone who does have a more precise hand. Haven't figured it out myself. So anywho, my plan is then to use my custom quad. So yeah, this previously had the contour color down here. It had a powder up here before, which shattered when I dropped the palette once, so I just ended up throwing that powder out. Sorry, I think I have a hair on my face. Nope, okay. So then this bottom one here is a eyeshadow from Pretty's For Your Face. I think it's called Love is Love, and I believe that I pressed in a little bit of powder or maybe a neutral eyeshadow into it to make it less pigmented, because it was an eyeshadow and I've essentially tried to turn it into a blush. It's certainly still quite bright, so I'll try and go lightly with it, and I don't wear it all that often, although I do love the idea in theory of a red blush. It's just quite a hard thing, I think, to pull off. And then in terms of highlighter, I'll either go in with the green or this pinky one. The green is also actually an eyeshadow. This is, I always forget, no, yeah, I'm not in the habit of writing names on the back of shadows when I press them myself, but this one was maybe Reindeer Paws from Femme Fatale Cosmetics. And this one is Blossom Glow from Wet n Wild, which I had the whole pan of. I hit pan in it, didn't expand the pan very much, but then was like, look, there's so much product, I don't need all of it, I'll just put it into this custom thing. So I essentially pressed it into here and then threw out the rest of the product. But yeah, this is what I'll be using. So let's see here, that's going to be really bright. I'm not actually normally someone who taps off products on the back of my hand, but as you can see, I just picked up quite a lot there. I'm going to try and be gentle with this colour, really softly building. You can see I almost kind of talk to myself very slowly and quietly while I do it. Here we go. Here we go. I find it pulls somewhat orangey tone on me. This is where like my whole what is my undertone thing gets a bit confusing, because I don't always know what it means. Say if I have an orange blush but my orange blush always looks pink on me, or say I have a red blush but it looks orange on me. I can't quite figure it out. I don't think I am very strongly cool or warm. Anywho, this is kind of how the blush is looking. I think I've kept it relatively subtle. I might go with just a little bit more to kind of bring it up the temple. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I was thinking for today, because I haven't actually got in mind what eyeshadow I'm going to use. Oh, I should probably use my Pan Those Peaches focus shades, so I guess I'll be doing that. But maybe I'll incorporate some lilac as well, seeing as that's what I am wearing today. Just a hoodie, but might as well be matchy-matchy. Okay, let's see. So I think, yeah, this is in my Pan Those Peaches. This shadow is currently a focus. I think it's called On the Dance Floor. Yeah, and so I think I'll go for a peach to lilac look today, which is kind of my comfort zone anyway, to be honest, so easy. That's good. Okay. So I'm using my Too Faced Shadow, ooh, yikes, Too Faced Shadow Insurance. As you can see, I've used quite a bit of it. I have used up a sample of it before. I've also bought, finally, because everyone said that they're so similar, the Milani primer, which I am happily going to continue using once the Too Faced one is empty. They're definitely similar. I think if anything, the Milani one seems like better quality because it's so much more consistent, whereas this Too Faced one kind of splits and separates, and sometimes you get the kind of watery, oily mess that comes out of it. The Milani one seems more stable so far, so love that. Love a good stable product. Okay, so I keep all of my face brushes over here. I don't know if that's on camera. Anyway, over here, all of my eye brushes over here. I'll pop them out. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to set my lid with another palette that is in my Pan Those Peaches. So here we are. I'm going to use this one, Powdered Sugar. I realized most people do their makeup on camera facing the camera. Maybe I should be a bit more consistent about doing that. Here we go. Hello. Okay. Alright, I think I'd better start with the lilac because otherwise there's a bit of a risk of it getting completely washed out. I'm trying to think actually if I'd like to almost add a bit of blue in to go blue, lilac, peach. I think I might. Alright, now I was just checking if I had a eyeshadow brush that's already been stained blue, and actually I think it is this one. Alright, let's see. Okay, this is one of my single shadow palettes. Now I'm going to be going into, I think I'm going to do an all matte look. We'll see. I'm going into, what are you called again? Daydreamer from Terra Moons. Terra Moon's obviously an exceptional eyeshadow formula, better known for their shimmers, but their mattes are lovely as well and very soft. You can see like I have a solid dip forming there, even in a pastel blue, which I'm not wearing all the time. So I'm going to try and do this facing forward instead of facing that way. I'm going to bring this into my tear duct kind of area. Getting a bit of fallout, but that's okay because it's so pale. Okay, good. Got a pop of blue already. I'm going to go in with my white peach palette for the lilac, which is Sweet Fig. However, I pressed that in myself, and this was previously Howlin from Colourpop. I hope that makes sense. Just to say that I have edited this palette, as you can probably see. So 1, 2, 3, 4 shades were not in the original palette. I pressed them in to customize the palette. I'm just going to dab that as the next colour along. Ooh, getting some eyelashes. Ooh, and a bit more dry skin than I realised. Okay. No worries. I feel like lilacs often come across quite neutral on me, like a lot more neutral than I expect. Almost sort of just looks like the natural colour that my crease would be. Maybe I'm imagining that. Anyway, but even with a different lilac shade that I have, I noticed that it looked really, yeah, very sort of non-makeup-y when I was applying it. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the peach then. I think I'll use one of these I'll use one of these peaches to sort of soften that transition and then get into the brighter peach there. So I'm going to use Peach Slade. Lovely. There we go. Just to kind of build that up in that direction. Yep. Oh, excuse me. And going to, yeah, I'm just taking some of the Marc Jacobs shadow now and plopping that into the outer corner. It's actually quite an orangey peach, isn't it? Yeah. And weirdly, not that bright. I keep, like, whenever I look at this, it looks quite dark to me, but it sort of doesn't translate that way. It's also a satin, which is a bit confusing to me. I don't totally understand satins, this sort of in-betweening formula. Also, I feel like I've made a weird shape there. Maybe I will have to use a shimmer on the lid. We'll see. Let me get my hair out of the way. There we go. Okay. I mean, look, I don't hate it. That's fine. I'm gonna go in a bit with a bit more of the Too Faced shade. Kind of blend that out a bit more. Yeah, she's alright. Okay. What do I want on the lid? Really don't know. Kind of want a... I do kind of want a lilac, but this lilac is just kind of boring. And I don't know if it is worthwhile doing that. Yeah, okay, let's just do it. Why not? I'm at home anyway, clearly. Okey-dokey. There we go. Yeah, I think that sort of marries the colours together a bit better. This is much more orange than I'd realised. Like, really, this is more of a sort of muted orange than even a peach. But that's okay. Can work with that. Yeah, alright. Okay, I will recreate this on the other eye and probably cut to when it's done. Okay, so I have done the other eye the same way, pretty much. I'm not a fan of just how orangey this is looking, so I think I'm going to sort of cover it with another shadow, see if that helps. I'm going to use this peachy shadow. She said, wait, flash covers, it's called Fantasy. All these Marc Jacobs shadows, palettes I should say, have these kind of like poemy or sentencey shade names. So this one, it goes Flesh Covets Fantasy. She said meet ya for more on the dance floor, which is, you know, not a great poem, but still quite a fun way to name your eyeshadows, I think. So I'm just going to put some of Fantasy over this to see if I can get rid of some of that orangey tone. Maybe not. Let's see. And again, no biggie really. I am not doing anything with this makeup except playing around at home. I might try making seitan later. Never made it before, but I'm feeling like it. Feeling like doing something creative in the kitchen. Just topping up the shimmer. Heck, it's fine. I can live with it. Alright, so in terms of the lower lash line, I am a big fan of a medium to light shimmer on the lower lash line. And my go-to lower lash line shade, because I have such a thing, is, I think it's the first one with the weird mirror. This one, Berry Fine. How is this shade called Berry Fine? Like, come on, it's peach. It's a yellowy peach. Anyway, Berry Fine should be, I think, like a dark purple or even a red, maybe something that's actually berry colored, even though this, yeah, because this clearly isn't. But hopefully this will kind of tie the look together in terms of that outer corner shade fitting in a bit better. I'm just using my ring finger to smudge that on. This is generally speaking how I do lower lash line shades. I think also in part because I really hate having sparkly or shimmery shadows get in my eyeballs, and I find that brushes are much more likely to do that than when I use my fingers. So there we are. Now I do think it needs an inner corner shade as well, but I'm not sure what that should be. I think I do have something in my eye. Okay, inner corner. Oh, actually no, I do know. I'm going to use, yeah, let's be real, a stunning shadow. I think she's in here. Yes, Red Giant by Terra Moons. Iconic. Just so much pigment. Okay. Okay. one that I'd normally do with the finger. I do find it just sort of adheres better than if I use a brush, and again, less chance of getting fallout into my actual eyes. So we've gone really colourful in a sort of odd direction. Now, what else do I need to do? Highlighter. So for highlighter, okay, I will just use my sort of basic pink one here. So I think, excuse me again, I think that will be the best to tie it all together. I'm just using a travel brush. I don't really use this one at home. That I got in Japan several years ago. Here we go. Yep. And I will need some eyebrows. I will fill in my freckles as well, or my moles, beauty marks, whatever you like. Okay. So I have been a little chaotically using my freckle pen to fill in my eyebrows because it's a warm brown. It's all the same stuff, really. So it's a lime crime one I've had for a while. It doesn't seem to go anywhere, like it doesn't run out. I'm gonna fill in my moles a bit. Just a step I like to do. I think I started doing this because people said it sort of makes your base look more natural because then you have your natural little spots showing through. But I do quite like my freckles, so I'm happy to have them there. I'm mostly trying to even out the tails because my eyebrows are a bit uneven. So just kind of doing that. I am very lax with my eyebrows. They're pretty wide, as you can see. They've got a lot of, what's the word? I don't know, presence. They're there. They're fine. I don't tend to brush them up, even though it probably would look better that way, just because I have never really gotten in the habit of it, and ultimately habit plays a big part in my makeup routine. What happens just when I sit down here is half muscle memory, really. So I think that's good enough, and I might just go with a bit more blush, or even just with that brush again to kind of make that a bit more seamless. Yeah, we'll go with a little bit more blush. At least the fact that this is kind of orangey toned goes well with that outer corner shadow then. Well, not even that this is orangey toned, but that it looks orangey toned on me. Okay. I might go just a tad bit in the middle of the nose, on the chin, up here. Not really much product on the brush, but just to add a bit of tying all the colours together. Okay, and then we'll need mascara. This one, you could say I'm panning, but again, I mean, aren't we all just panning mascara all the time? They go so quickly. This one's a tubing mascara. I really only use tubing mascaras. It's a strong preference of mine. They're just so much easier to remove. I mean, this is from before I used an oil cleanser to remove my makeup, and also I do have kind of watery eyes, so I guess that's the more accurate current reason for using them, is that my eyes get a bit watery. I don't want black smudges or tear tracks or anything else down my face or on my lower lash line. There we go. Good. I'll go here. It's getting quite dried out, that's why I have to go over my lashes so many times with this. But I think it'll be good for maybe another few weeks, maybe a month. Okay. Alright. And then I just need a lip product. Now, because I am currently sick, I will do this somewhat more sanitarily rather than going straight in with the wand. I'm going to use my finger. So good. I freaking love these glosses. Anyone from my Instagram will know that. This is Cloudy Cos in Valencia. Cloudy Cos is a local Australian indie brand who make very cushiony, hydrating, moisturizing kind of lip glosses. So I think it's fair to say that's the finished look. I am just hanging out at home today, so you know, does the job. Just checking the mirror over there to see how that is. But yeah, in any case, I hope it was fun to see some of the products that I am sort of panning, in the sense of, I guess, the contour product and the corrector, some of my eyeshadows. I think the next video I'm going to film is going to be an eyeshadow collection and then maybe an inventory of everything else separately, because I think doing it all together would be a bit full on. And maybe an eyeshadow tag as well. Keep an eye out. In any case, this has been fun. If you've watched the whole way through, thanks, and hope you had a good time. And hope you're all keeping safe and healthy out there. Bye.